in a situationship, do you have the right to ask, what did you do this weekend and where were you? Or does that sound like, stop trying to control me?
I mean, I guess it depends on how you phrase it. If you ask if you ask how was your weekend, then it's all fine. But if you say, tell me what you did this weekend right now, then probably be the other
Oh
thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
of
they're
course,
like,
of course. Right. No, I want to try to say, I mean, what are your rights as a part, the wondering part? So if you, I mean, obviously you're not going to say, tell me where you were right now.
yeah.
But if you say, how was your weekend? And they say, fine, full stop, nothing else. Do you have a right to ask, like, tell me more? Or
I mean, I don't know.
hey, in my
Yeah,
time, yeah,
yeah,
in my time, if that happened, right?
yeah,
Um, say when it was already the 90s and you had phones and you could actually text, right? And because if it's in person by the other person's expression, you can tell. But
yeah.
normally, if that happened and they didn't reply, if I said, "Hey, how was your weekend?" and they said fine and nothing else, that was a clear sign that they were ghosting you and it was time to. Right.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, because
But
if you send a
but
text
here,
something and they just respond with it's fine, then you kind of get the feeling that they don't really want to talk to you. So you're kind of okay about.
oh, but in a situationship, you are allowed to do that without breaking the situationship, right? Is that
Um, I mean, I guess it depends on how things are and how far in the situationship you are with the other person. You know what I mean? Like if it's the very beginning, I would probably be like, oof, I guess he doesn't really want to talk to me anymore. You know what I mean? Because if I just get just fine, then I'll be like, well, I don't know where to take this conversation next. You know what I mean? So I'll just
yeah.
leave it until, yeah, you know.
Right?
So
Yes. So that's pretty much the same as it was in our time.
yeah,
And so all that
yeah,
all that lack of commitment and liberty of commitment or liberty to not commit or whatever it is leads
mhm.
me to a very, very natural question, which is, are situationships monogamous?
Yes and no. So
Okay.
I'd say at the beginning, no, but okay. It all depends on what you've talked with the other person because you could say,
So you do talk, huh? So you do communicate, huh?
yeah, of course.
Right.
I said
Right.
this before. I said this before that you do communicate and you do talk to the other person and say what you're feeling. But there could be a point where you say, hey, I want this to kind of take the next half a step or quarter of a step, if you want to call it that, of
Yeah.
where I just want us to be exclusive and I just want things to be me and you. But frankly, if you're exclusive, then at that point you are basically like boyfriend and girlfriend, or
Everything.
you're in a relationship. So at that point, for me, it's kind of the same thing, but people do take it as two separate parts.
Fair enough.
So
But officially, technically,
yeah,
by law, until you both mention
yeah,
exclusivity or that you want to be in a relationship, you are technically allowed to do whatever the hell you want. And the other person can't
yes,
really question it, right?
exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay.
But
That's
you know,
whatever.
and
What?
I was gonna say, and this is where the whole heartbreak thing comes along because normally one person feels a lot stronger about the feelings aren't equal, you know.
Yeah.
But someone's kind of like, oh, I like him or I like her, but I'm still gonna do my own thing on the side, and the other person's like, nah, I'm putting all my eggs in this one basket, and then they drop the basket and all their eggs are broken, you know. So
Good analogy there. Right. So really, the biggest difference between our situationship in the Gen Z scope and in the Gen Z meaning and a relationship or the beginnings of a relationship back in my time for the Gen X's
mhm.
is the fact that you are eligible to two-time the other person and to not be monogamous.
Yeah,
And really that's it because everything else is pretty much the same. Everything is except by name and by label. Everything is pretty much the same. You get together with somebody, you acknowledge, maybe without words in your case, but with words in ours, the fact that you
yeah,
enjoy each other's company. You give it a while to see if you're compatible or not enough to
yeah,
take it to the next step. And eventually one of them says, hey, should we make this official?
yeah,
And that's it. Okay,
yeah.
that's cool.
That's a pretty good summary.